Welcome back to this delicious Indian feast with my gorgeous husband.
Oh, it's been difficult, trust me. However, we're here, we're ready. Let me describe what we're having first, a few of the dishes. First of all, we're having a wonderful butter chicken with basmati rice. Then we're having chicken korma, which is hard to say, with basmati rice. Now, the dishes in the middle are the tough ones. This you won't like, but I'm going to try it anyway. We have aloo tikki, which is vegetarian. And we have a mixture. Well, this is the aloo tikki, vegetarian.
Sure thing.
Mmm.
No, it's close.
Wow. Mmm. Wow, nice flavor. Good stuff inside. I put that on my plate. Second, we have the aloo tikki, but this is mixed with vegetables, so it's really delicious. I'm going to dip it in a little sauce here. What's our sauce, Sean?
That's the same sauces that's going on here. It's the Della Macanini. Is that it?
Della Macanini. Delicious.
Della Macanini sauce.
Spicy, too. Drinking time.
Also, Charles has a nice glass of wine. I have a glass of wine. We're a little bit short on ice cubes, but hey.
I have wine and soda, because I've already had a couple of...
I have straight up wine, so. Also, we have some delicious naan bread right here. Check that out. That's the garlic naan bread, right?
Yes.
Can't wait to dig into that.
Now, we have some little tidbits. We couldn't find... These are cocktail samosas, which are very tiny, but certainly bite-sized and edible. I'm going to dip a little bit of them into our...
Charles is a little bit on the hungry side because it took us a little while.
That's nice.
Okay, so I'm going to grab one of these.
One of the cocktail samosas, which are tiny but edible, certainly great for dinner parties. If you don't want people to eat a lot, and the samosas are huge, so they're like a whole meal. This is a wonderful little bite-sized piece of meal. Now, what we're going to have, we're going to dip it into our plum chutney. Oh, gotta show you. This is our plum chutney, which is just delicious and thick and spicy. It's just delicious. I give this to my husband. Ah, so. Well, how do I know it's good? Because I cheated and I tried one before. What do you want, hon?
Nothing.
Okay, so I'm going to try one now with the regular chutney. Oh, should show you. Excuse me. Regular chutney. I give that to my husband, too.
No, it's your turn.
No. Oh, he's such a... And now I get to eat one. I get to eat one with the plum chutney, which we showed you before. They actually look really good. Crunchy, nice filling, flavor. The spicy chutney gives it the kick that you need.
Okay. We have two little plates on the side for servings.
Cheers.
And of course we have nice delicious wine.
And Brady's watching us, waiting for leftovers.
Yeah, yes. Hi, Poopy News.
Hi, baby.
Okay, so let's dig into this delicious little beast. Okay, do you want me to serve you? Have your plate. Do you want me? I'll just use my spoon. What would you like? A little bit of everything, or?
Yes, please. So right now, Sean's giving me the chicken korma. No, that's enough. That's enough.
That's enough.
We're gonna start because we're mixing.
I was just getting enough to
Chicken
put on.
korma.
And can I borrow yours to switch it over? And
He's giving us the butter chicken
butter chicken
with the basmati rice.
Sorry, I didn't try the last one. Oops, that.
Oh, let's just drop that.
Do you want a little more?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. So we'll leave that there, I guess, maybe for when we do it the next time. So I'm gonna take the same.
I didn't get any of the.
Oh, what did you want, Missy?
I didn't get any of the dal
Oh, do you want
macahini.
Oh, did you
Dal
want some?
macahini. I
Oh,
definitely want some of that. You just clean that off. Huh? It's all going down the same spout. No, this is the dal macahini.
Same thing. Oh, you wanted it with the rice?
With the, oh yeah.
Okay, so I'll put that on the side. Check that out.
No, that.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. That looks so delicious.
The other
Do you
was
want
the
some more?
Chohitli Batura. Hans.
Is that the one that...
That's the one in the bowl. The let's try to have this again. Choli Bakatara. Oh, that's a bad pronunciation, but hey, as long as it tastes good, that's the key to life. Now this was an adventure cooking. I actually overcooked the naan bread, but thankfully, I didn't put all the naan bread in. I just put half of it in. Sean gave me heck for that. He's a really good boss. Not a very good server, but he's a really good boss.
As you can see, it's bouncing all around.
Can I have a piece of naan bread, please?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to, like a...
Half. I'll take half and I'll share it with you. So, we thought we'd talk about a few things that are going on in our life.
So,
Oh, this is the garlic naan bread, which we Oh! This is the garlic naan bread. We just lost a spoon. Hey, life in the fast lane.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Our pet peeves. Well, one of the things that Sean really doesn't like, which I love as a former teacher, is correcting language and mistakes in grammar. It bugs him to no end. Pet peeves for Sean, correcting grammar. I'm very good at it, and sometimes excuse me, it comes so natural for me to just correct people. I need to learn to do that in, what's it called? In proportion to what's going on. So let's enjoy one of the aloe tiki bars with the vegetables inside. Nice crisp crust. I really like those. And of course I use the spicy plum.
Oh my god, you're hugging all the sauces. Well, that's the chutney, right? Check that. Okay, so basically with pet peeves, I have to tell you what...
That's our pannier. Let me skip my fingers out of the way. Pannier.
Do you see what he does? Okay, so...
You see why I have to do this?
Again, second time. Tips me off a little, but I love them still. So the pet peeves are basically what I have against him, right? Like my pet peeves versus him, and his pet peeves versus me. So we'll start with that. So, do you want to start with that pet peeves? Want to start? Okay, my first pet peeve is that Charles leaves his clothes laying around everywhere. Like as if he lives in a frat house. I'm sorry. It's true. Your turn.
Keep going. I'm eating.
No, it's we take 1 for 1.
Well, my pet peeve probably is cleaning.
You don't have to go against yourself.
And how Sean, I have to clean after him. I have to make it work well. I don't tell him all the time, but I clean after he cleans.
Oh my god, I just... Wow. Nice way to start.
That's a pet peeve I have. I just wish he would work harder at it and be good at it.
Are you on my team or what? Oh my gosh, I'm crying.
I think our favorite pet peeve for both of us, to be honest, Sean cleans really well. That's a joke. It's not really fair. I'm the one who slacks in the cleaning because I tend to not notice things because I have other things on my mind. I'm currently going to school, and it's driving me friggin' nuts, but the future is so bright for that opportunity. I'm going to school to try to study. Here's your napkin, hon. To try to study real estate.
Thank you.
Real estate in Vancouver right now is at a low point. But as my teacher says, this low point is actually the high point. And I'm going to jump in at the right moment, and it's going to be really successful. Because wouldn't you buy a house from me? Wouldn't you trust me? Look at this face. Of course you would trust me because I would be honest. I would work really hard for you, and I would remember this is the largest purchase that you're ever going to make in your life, and I'm going to help you make a great purchase at a great price. And of course I make a profit, but that's not the key. The key is you being satisfied and happy with the purchase that you made for your lifetime. Young, old, whatever it might be, I'm going to help you with that. So he has difficulty with organizational skills, but I help him all the time for him to be better at this. That's what I do. That's my job in life.
Okay, you're not getting your pet peeves. I mean, you're ranting, yeah.
See, he calls it ranting, but it's actually factual information.
Okay, pet peeves are when I tell you what is bothering me about you, and you what's bothering me.
Do you hear?
Okay, so whatever I'm saying, sorry, I'm talking, but and he actually tried to plug himself on my YouTube channel. I mean, seriously.
So right now, I'm having the aloe tiki, and they are really one of my favorites right now. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't had much of the korma. Could you give me some of this, hun, please?
Mm-hmm.
No, just take my spoon and...
Yeah, I was going to take the bowl though.
No, it's okay. Just do it from there. Okay. See? He always does it his way and thinks that this is called sharing. In the middle, please. And one more.
Do you see how that went a lot better?
Can I have my spoon back?
Yeah, right up your ass. Okay.
Easy. You're supposed to be remembering.
Okay, remember that pet peeves is not about you complaining about.
I'm not complaining.
Pet peeves
Pet peeves are what really disturbs you in life
about the other
about
person.
your partner.
Yes.
Or other people, but basically we're talking about being in a relationship. Actually, we're married. See my ring? Look at that pretty ring.
Yeah, but he doesn't always bring his ring around, so.
Oh, see, there's the pet peeve. That he was the first one to forget the ring.
What?
Yeah, he was the first one to forget the ring, and I bugged him for like 12 hours because we were going to Delta. And he said, I'm never going to forget my ring again. He did. I then forgot my ring, but I drove back home to get it because I knew what was going to happen. Never forget your wedding ring when you're with your beautiful husband.
Well, technically, you're not supposed to be taking it off except for going to bed, right?
What? When we're watching The Price is Right, we never watch The Price is Right. Ooh, look at this. Look at this nice filler. Mmm. That dal is really good. I like that.
My pet peeve in Charles is the second one, is basically correcting me. Even though I understand that why he corrects me, it becomes a little bit annoying at first. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh God, seriously, just let me say it. But I understand what he means about it. So, you know, there's a positive and a negative. The negative that it bugs me, I guess it's just me. But, you know, it's nice that he does do it. So.
Mmm. That's really delicious. This aloe tiki or tikai, no, must be tiki. It's really delicious with the dal.
Mm.
Have you tried the butter chicken yet, huh? It's over
Yeah.
here.
I have it on my plate. I think I ate everything so far.
One of my pet peeves was Sean. I don't have many because he's really actually quite easy. It's that sometimes he mumbles. And he doesn't enunciate as it should be. We're working on it. But I tell him often that I can't hear him or that I don't understand what he says, or I say a time on Thursday. That's my favorite. Thursday at 7:55. Yeah, we're working on it. We're doing a good job. It's part of the process, but when you have something to say it. The worst thing that can happen is someone can say, I don't like what you just said, and then they fix it. But you have to be clear on what you're saying all the time. Pet peeve number 1, I think, or 2. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I lost half of it, but this is the butter chicken.
Okay, so
with
we'll
some
have
rice.
We'll have one more pet peeve, and then we'll move on to something else. Because we're 2 for 2. Okay.
We can skip ahead. Such great flavors. Oh. The chole batara, really a great flavor. That's the beanie stuff.
My pet peeve, well, it wasn't a pet peeve until Charles got older.
Always
Okay,
older.
Charles used to be an amazing cook, but now he just makes everything really, really dry. And instead of making rice, he made rice soup. And also because I have to clean up after him when he cooks, because that's just the way it should be. You know what I mean? He works really hard to make his meal. I try not to criticize it too much. But the bottom of the pots, we have cast iron pots. The bottom of the pots are all like stuck with the rice.
Which I got a special deal on.
Okay,
we went to the store and we got a special deal on it because I said to the cashier, I said, no, it's for sale. You've got to give us at this price. And Sean said, no. Just
we're talking about pet peeves now, right? Do you see what I made? Anyway, so that's what he did. And he burnt the bottom and have to scrub because remember what cast iron pans, you can't, you SOSO pads and all that stuff and whatever. But it's like,
so nice.
It takes me like at least an hour and a half to actually clean up after he cooks. Because he puts on the heat too high.
You see this? You see what I have to deal with? But we've come up with a solution. We've come up with a solution. I don't cook anymore. I don't shop anymore. Sean does everything. And then it's perfect. Well, we'll give it a week to find out. His best cooking is salad. Cheers, honey.
Anyways, no, Charles still cooks. I mean, it's just pet peeves, right? We're just, joking around. The most important is that we always, no matter that, I mean, I think it happened only twice that we got mad at each other and we didn't talk to each other when we went to bed, stuff like that, until the next day. But, see how easy it was pointing fingers. But, in reality, that's, a high percentage that we actually do always, and we're even trying harder to make sure that it's 100% that we don't go to bed mad, right? We always,
really important.
We always have to be happy and cuddle and be close and always resolve our problems before we go to sleep. So that way, we start the day fresh and we're happy, and it's always nice to be snuggling against your loved ones, right? Instead of sleeping on the other side of the bed.
The worst thing that you can ever do with your partner is go to bed mad. You gotta work it out. Even though it's hard, even though it's traumatic, and even though you don't like it because it's hard work, you've got to make up and you've got to be friends before you go to sleep, because that's 8 hours of thinking about what the problem is. So, on to the next subject, how we met. This was a summer day where I was out on a bike and I used to exercise 4 times a week. I used to bike about probably 100 miles a week, which seems like a lot, but are you okay?
You're making me so.
We'll stop. Yeah, 100 miles a week is not a lot.
All right.
This guy, he doesn't know about workout because I'm a phys ed person and I know about workouts, and I was talking about 100 miles a week. Not a lot. You go from where we were downtown to the West Island. I used to go 100 miles a week on my bicycle. That's 7 days a week. It's not that much when you consider I lived in downtown Montreal. And
Oh, so
I used
he
to go.
did it. Do you see?
Wow.
He did do that.
Wow, you can't even get by it. I used to live in downtown Montreal, just near Atwater. I used to pedal my bike on the bike path, which was always fun. Montreal had great bike paths on the canal area. The rest of the bike paths on the street were dangerous because car drivers, they just look at bicycles and pedestrians as targets. However, I used to go to Lachine. I used to go beyond Lachine. I used to go to Dorval. So it was quite a hike there and back. So it worked out really well. Oh, sorry, are you eating? So I used to exercise a lot. So during this one beautiful summer day, I was out biking. Middle of the afternoon towards the end of the evening, around 5:30, 6 o'clock, just when the sun was setting. I was coming back from one of my favorite biking spots. I was coming up a hill. Towards the sun. So I was going from east to west because the sun sets in the west. And I look up and there is this figure of beauty coming on his bicycle with his beautiful, beautiful blue eyes, devastating, shining at me. And his body and his form and just his attitude was just so exciting. It was just an amazing, amazing moment in life. We have these moments in life, but not often, but we have these moments in life. I was, as they call it, thunderstruck. We ended up having a great afternoon together. We ended up waiting for 2 days before we saw each other again, which was quite a surprise, but it was sort of like I was really afraid. And Sean got me through it, except for the times I used to hide him in my bedroom when friends were over. Sorry. It's just part of the thing that I was doing because I was a pretty bad boy at that time. But now I'm just a good boy. How did we meet? How do you remember it?
We met in the same area where it's a bike path that goes like this, and then there's a hill that goes down, and it goes in along trails where a lot of gay people like to meet. That's why I said it was his favorite part of the town, but it's true. If you want to see the honest truth, that's the way it was, right? So I was leaving that part, which no, I was leaving. Image.
Lies. Go ahead.
In reality, he was a gorgeous black man. That's what it was. Right?
Wow. I'm devastated.
Well, it's hard because when I went down, that's all I seen was someone on a bike. He was on the bike and everything. I sure thought I was on my way leaving. Maybe that's why I was up. I was already leaving. But I looked back because I saw you. Of course.
And I wasn't on my bike. Because it was a hill. I was wheeling my bike up because it was a very steep hill. Probably an 80-degree incline.
Oh my god, I'm losing my mind.
But it's one of those scenes that you can actually take a film of.
It was hard.
Or a photo of.
It was like more like, you know what I mean? We went. I'm very shy person. Like I seen Charles down there, and I was interested in him, and then so I ended up eventually going down, and we sort of like chit-chatted a little, but not that much. You know. Let's just say, cut to the chase. And like from these events, you usually think that it's just like a one-time pretty much thing, right? But in reality, I was over 20-something.
He was an old guy.
Yeah.
Didn't look like it then. Doesn't look like it now.
But I was an old guy, then what is he?
Really? Experienced. So, we got along very well. Sean's first occasion to meet my friends,
Well,
I made sushi.
I thought they were friends.
They are friends.
Yeah.
They're just tough because they were jealous that I had dropped them in the dirt. Sean's first occasion to meet my friends in our apartment on Ducouvin in Montreal was when I had a sushi night. I made sushi from scratch. I went and bought the salmon, I bought the tuna, I bought the ingredients, I bought the, oh gosh, what are they called? The leaves. What are the papers called?
Seaweed?
Seaweed. I bought the seaweed. I made my own wasabi. I had everything ready for ingredients making. Sean, never having had sushi before, was having a really good time, but used none of the ingredients. Excuse me. He didn't use the wasabi. He didn't use the ginger, and he didn't use the. Oh gosh, I know what it is. Soya. So he ate it dry, but he loved it, which is really good. So it was a great experience to see that he really enjoyed different kinds of food. Because he was from the ghetto. Now in Montreal, there are various places that you can live. And one of the places that I lived in was also a ghetto. But it wasn't discovered. But Sean lived in the Mafia ghetto, which is called Pointe Saint Charles. Pointe Saint Charles in Quebec, in Montreal, Quebec. And Pointe Saint Charles is a very rough area. I had no idea how dangerous it was to be in Pointe Saint Charles until Sean explained to me before, you're walking here at night during the day?
The funny thing is, back to Charles's story about us going to Charles's party for the first time. I didn't know anyone at the party except for Charles. And considering the fact that when we first met and everything, Charles gave me his card, which I still have today. I swear I should have brought it out. And we've been together for 16 years. And I still have to have... Thank you. I still have the exact same card. I should have actually brought it out. I didn't think of it, but from 16 years ago when he gave me his card with his phone number, and actually I marked the date of his birth on the back of it. I might actually take a picture of it and I'll show you, and I'll post it in this video. So what I did is that I didn't actually meet Charles directly at his house because I'm very, cautious of meeting people, you know what I mean? On the street and stuff. Well, I mean, and you never know, right? So what I did is that I used to come from my house, which was like probably about 10 or so. That's alright. Yeah, I definitely about. So we would talk from there for a bit before I actually say. Before I actually went to his house. Like, I like to get to know someone before I actually go to their house, you know what I mean? So I took the time to, get to know him for, I don't know, it was probably 5 or 7 calls before. Anyways, back to the story of where he did the sushi party at his place. So, I went to the sushi party. This was the first time that I went to go and visit him and had this party.
I have to interject here because there might have been 10 or 15 people there, and I had actually slept with 10 or 15 of them.
See what he's doing? He's jumping in before I actually get a chance.
No, because it's important for you to know.
No, you get to say that after, not now. I mean, seriously, I'm talking.
Sorry.
Okay, because you had your chance because you were talking with the party, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna edit that out.
No, don't edit that out. That's really good.
Okay,
that's
so-
the truth.
So I went to his party for the first time ever, and me being a shy person, and
I welcome those days. Oh, see the eyes?
okay, so I mean seriously, edit that out. I'm joking, but so I went and not knowing anyone except for Charles. Like I didn't even know Charles that well, but anyways, well enough that I went to his party. So we went, and he had this nice little spread of sushi in his dining room, because he had a dining room area. He had a big dining room area, and he had this big black table. It was gorgeous. It was nice. It was black, nice seating and everything, and a nice little spread. And then he had a living room area, TV, nice little view. And I mean, the apartment was huge. It had like what was it?
8.5 rooms.
8.5 rooms and
One
Nice.
bathroom. Fuck.
yeah, I know, seriously, one bathroom. But it was like, what was it, 100 feet or 90 feet from one end?
90.
90 feet from one end to the other. Anyways, it was long.
Old Montreal apartments, typical
Yeah.
of that area and Verdun.
So, me being shy, I went in and I sat, and there's a bunch of people, like, because he removed everything from the living room, and there was all seating area like that, and more like a U-shaped type thing. And then when you walk through, because there's in the living room and the dining room, there was an open space where you can just walk through from one room to the next. But, and I didn't know anyone, so I basically went into the first room. Charles was so busy because the house is pretty long, and he was interacting with other people, which I didn't even see him because he didn't even know that I came or not, because I don't even know who answered the door. I can't remember who answered the door.
Hired help.
Hard help. Anyway, the majority of the moral of the story is that I went and I started filling. I said, "Well, I'm hungry. I'll go and fill up some plates and stuff." So I took some nice bunch of sushi and stuff, and that's all I hear from the background is, "Oh, he's the flavor of the month. Oh, he's the flavor of the month. He's the flavor of the month." I mean, seriously, 3 or 4 times from a bunch of people in the background.
One of whom became a great friend with Sean.
Yes, of course. But the thing is that Charles was a little bit of a, you know,
Where are you going with this? Edit this out.
a person that someone enjoyed being around.
I was fun. I still am fun. But I was fun. I was even more fun then because I was like free and easy. I wasn't married
What?
at that time. In Montreal.
Okay, you speak freely, but not that freely. Seriously.
You have a big piece of of green on your teeth, honey.
Probably. But so anyways, the moral of the story is that basically everyone said that I was the flavor of the month and so on and so forth, and that, you mean, whatever, you mean. I'm a type of person that actually listens. Like when I don't know the people around me, I listen. You know, that way you get to learn as much as possible about the people when they talk and stuff, right? So anyways, there was this other guy that, because at that time I used to smoke cigarettes, right? So I used to go on the back balcony. There was a balcony on the side. I used to smoke cigarettes, and there was this guy, this French-ish guy, and he's like, "Are you with Charles?" And blah blah blah. You with Charles, right? And he started giving me attitude and this and that, and then he wanted to fight with me. I mean, seriously.
Well, that was Francois.
Yeah, that French guy.
He's a little bit of a wacko.
I mean, he wanted to fight with me and this and that. And I was like, what the, you know what I mean? And this is the first time ever being at Charles. I mean, seriously.
These little cocktail samosas are really delicious. I'm finding them better and better each time. I'm glad we baked them. Did you try the paneer? You've been using
Oh, I
other-
didn't get to try that one. Super hot.
Really nice. I'm really surprised at the flavor combinations and how they're melding well together?
At the beginning of our relationship, I'm sorry, but we had these major fluctuations because Charles, I guess, it seemed like because Charles was like a free bird type thing. No, for the longest time, and when we got into a relationship and stuff, that when we moved into each other, the reason why we moved in is because my ex, we parted, and then he ended up throwing my stuff out on the street. I ended up calling Charles because we knew each other for a few months, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he offered to let me come and live with him, which was really nice of him. But you know, what I mean, I didn't expect that because I mean, we didn't know. Well, 3 months is pretty long, but you know what I mean. And so, yeah.
And it wasn't too long following that Sean bought me a chain, and a huge chain, like one of those chains for that black guys use, that really represent your prize. I still have that. I guess I should show that sometime soon.
What chain are you talking about?
The big long chain with the ring on it and everything.
No, it was the one where I proposed to be married to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was getting to it.
Okay.
And Sean, after a 3-week period,
Not 3 period.
after a 3-week period, decided that I was the answer.
It wasn't 3 weeks because I know whose story is it.
I obviously was having too much fun in life to realize that this was the person who I should have been with. But I was having too much fun. I was just free and easy. I didn't realize that life was short and you need to settle down. And Sean wanted to settle down, which is a smart thing to do. If you have a chance to settle down with somebody who you love, oh, I kissed that, eh? If you have the chance to settle down with somebody who you love, or who loves you, more importantly, you should do it. Don't wait. It sounds like I'm pushing you, but I'm pushing you. Sean told me early in our relationship that he was the one and that he wanted me. It's just that it was too much. I was having too free. Sex wasn't the only issue in my life. Being with somebody, not a really important part of my life, because I'd always had such bad future relationships. Well, that's where Seanusca comes into our story. Was Seanusca at the party?
I'm sure he was because he lived with you.
Oh. Now Seanusca is another story.
Which is the roommate that we...
Which is the roommate that I had there. And he was a disaster.
Okay, let's...
Anyway, we'll try to keep that. We'll try to keep that as little as possible. But, however, it was a really difficult time. But that was sort of my judgment to what relationships were. I didn't have very good balance. That was with women and with men. Everything seemed to be like, take it what you've got for the first day, the second day, the third week, but don't expect more. So I was really apprehensive of being with someone that's very far away from being married. But Sean stuck with it, and I was not your easy character.
Which we'll get into detail right now.
Now.
Oh, no, it's right now, which means...
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means is that when we were in a relationship, despite the fact that we were actually living with his ex-boyfriend, which I never lived with my ex, but you know what I mean? That's the way people, you know what I mean? Whatever. But obviously he was obviously a bit jealous because he likes to be around. Because even till today, he still isn't with someone. He was with Charles. Charles was the only person that he's been with, and he's still not with someone. And this is like 20-something years later. So just to, wrap your head around that one. And also, when I lived with Charles, it was very difficult in times because, you know what I mean, he has the ex, and also Charles is very difficult at times. But also there's a lot of people that he had no control about, but there was a lot of people that were either coming to our door or basically calling us at 2 o'clock. Calling us at 2 o'clock in the morning
Here, take it over to the other side because I have two.
Calling us at 2 o'clock in the morning and basically ranting because I would answer the phone or it would be on the answer machine. It would be like, "Oh, Charles, I want you to." But yeah, so that went on for the first 5 years. Also, Charles.
That's a little much. It went on for a while, but I eliminated half of them in the first 6 months.
Okay, but yes, okay, in ways, but he was stuck on with one person, and
that one.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve beat. Okay, but he was the one that's been in his life for the longest time ever, and he was the one that we would get in a lot of fights about because, I mean, they had that connection. They've been together for the longest time, but it was sort of like
we were never together. Not like you and I.
Yeah, but you always ran back to him all the time.
And
you did because when we talked about like where are you going? Oh, I can't see friends because that's what you would say.
It wasn't.
And when
Steve.
you went to bar, yes, it was, or was it Chris?
Chris. Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
There were lots.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to be honest. There were lots. There were too many.
There was lots
for me to handle. I was like juggling them and living with Sean at the same time.
And you wonder why I have gray hair at such a young age.
Who has more gray hair?
Yeah, because you're old and you're about 7.
Oh, you see the shots I have to take with this? However, he has been so kind to me and so caring about me. It's been really, really a pleasure. I mean, the worst part of our life is now living in this hole that we live in. We are on the move to second stage of moving out of this doldrums that we have. We currently live in a 1.5 apartment, I guess you call it 1.5. One bedroom apartment in Vancouver. The reason for that, of course, is because of our dog and we weren't able to find something. We moved from a beautiful house in Nanaimo on the island, which was a 2-floor.
Why did we move for?
Oh, we're going to get into that. No, we're not getting into that.
Yeah, we are.
Excuse me. We lived in Nanaimo, which was wonderful, but it was really too quiet for us.
No, but
our next door neighbors weren't the kind of people we wanted to be with. And the other neighbors, it was an older woman who was 90. She was an ex-school teacher, but she was off the deep end and she had to be hospitalized. So we really didn't have or establish any friends other than our friend Brian, who was our handyman. And Brian was a savior. But even at Brian, and we called him at 12 o'clock one night when our hot water heater burst. And Brian came over. And his wife accepted and understood that. Brian put on our front doors, changed our windows, changed our back door. He helped us with so much. He was really wonderful.
Look at Brady's ears.
What's the Brady?
Yeah, look at his ears.
You think I'm talking to you?
Like he has radar ears. Like
so, we ended up leaving that area because of multiple reasons. Number one, I was the one who screwed up on our financial affairs of trying to think of how to settle my debts. I was overspending and not settling my debts. I was careless with that. I went to a credit counseling area and then declared bankruptcy without knowing I declared bankruptcy. Sean, of course, thought he knew, but he tried to tell me.
Sean took accounting courses, which I didn't pass, but I passed the majority of them except for...
Does the word Mickey Mouse mean anything to you?
About the math part. So I told him that he shouldn't do credit counseling. Also, I told him that he should talk to our accountant before even doing it. Also, I said that someone in my class that when I took accounting courses was telling me about it, and he still didn't listen to me, and he went and listened to the person that was on the phone, which now we're still struggling with that now as of today. Like, I mean... I'm very stressed about it because of the fact is that like we got so ahead in life. We have a house. We moved from across Canada to here. We had a house, a gorgeous house. We could have even sold it, even despite the fact that if we didn't like it there, we could have sold it. But we could have progressed further because I would have had great credit and he would have had great credit. So you would have, because you did, right? You did have great credit, but in reality, it's like. Bygones being bygones, despite the fact that it's still nagging at me a little bit, but we're still working at it. I do have my little bit of flaws, is the fact is that, you know what I mean, because Charles does mention, oh, we're poor.
We are poor,
But
unfortunately.
I mean, but this is just making us even poorer, right? But anyways.
However, let me interrupt here, because when we
Like
sold our
always.
house in Nanaimo, Sean split the what's it called, the profits from the house, and ended up settling his debts and becoming the more stable of the two of us, even though his income was certainly a lot less than mine. But Sean always worked. He always tried to bring in some money. And it was really, really hard for him to handle the fact that I wasn't able to get a loan anymore. In fact, I went to 3 banks. We should do a thing about banks so that you start to understand how banks like to F you
Throw
over.
Brady a little piece or something.
No, we don't throw things to him. That's not fair.
Chemicals.
So, banks, that's a whole
Okay.
other story. We won't deal with banks
okay,
now.
so-
But Sean is now my establishment. And once he starts to work, which he has started to work at no frills, no thrills, he's going to be our savior to our next step to success. Because this is a stage and step-by-step procedure. So we have to work at it. So I'll let him talk.
I thinking is that maybe I'm a little bit on the stress fact is that A, he didn't listen to me, but which I can't do anything about it, which you would think considering that we're not at the time when we weren't husbands and stuff like that, but we were still in a relationship and stuff, and it sort of like really stressed me out because he didn't listen to my advice and rather take someone on the phone, right? Okay, so yes,
It wasn't on
happened.
the phone,
Wait a
honey.
second.
That's not fair.
It was
I sat
on-
in his office.
It was at the phone first, and then you went to the
Yeah,
office.
and then I went to the office for 4 times.
But still, I mean, you.
I don't take information over the phone. Don't take information over the phone ever. See the person face to face, talk to them, ask them
But
questions.
still, also, you should. Sorry for interrupting, but you should actually speak to your accountant, which I said.
Yeah.
I know I'm coming across as like whatever. It's just because we were doing really well. I mean, for moving across Canada to here. I mean, Vancouver is already expensive as it is, and we made a great profit thanks to Charles because he went there and he purchased it all on his own. I wish I would have been there because I would
Actually,
have.
not. We did get some help from someone. We borrowed $12,000 from someone, hon, which we paid back
Yeah, so
to buy the house. Yeah, but we have to mention that. Actually, Janusz, who we talk a lot of bad things about, ended up lending us.
Remember, it's his ex.
He ended up lending us money so we could purchase the house in Nanaimo. Now, we ended up paying it back with interest, and he was like a freaking banker. And we ended up paying all of that back too because Sean worked and I worked and we made out a deal. However, that also ended up being a bad time because we had a friend, Sean's friend, his former boss, Eve, coming to live with us. And we were having
What names?
4 people inputting into the mortgage and making repairs. So it was really quite positive.
Ready, come.
So we're feeding the dog from the table now. That works out well. The poor baby, he's been sitting there so nice. He deserves something, except if it's too spicy for him. I've done it before, I'll do it again. I hope not as often.
What do you better not do it again. What do you mean do it
See,
again?
you see, I have to deal with this.
What do you do it again?
You see, I have to
You're
deal
gonna
with
talk to
this.
someone on the phone stating
You should
that
see his eyes.
and get bad credit?
You should see his eyes.
I've been working on him to not get bad credit since.
But that's why I love him, because he is stubborn and he does want his way and he does believe in his beliefs, and that's important. You have to believe in what you think and feel, and that's the way Sean is. I love him for that.
He said it's almost past his bedtime because he just went like this. And Brady just did a part. You.
The baby Brady.
Thank you very much for watching my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, alright? Have an amazing day.
Have an amazing day. So nice to see you. Enjoy.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.